Well, we are back with Representative Tillis, and we're going to speak about the educational system in North Carolina, specifically teachers. I am involved with the financial literacy group, and I speak to people all across the country. And teachers are overburdened as it is, and we're trying to get them to teach financial literacy. Meanwhile, they're not being paid enough, I don't think, and I think they have too many students in their classrooms, and we want to get some comments from Representative Tillis about the teachers and the educational system in North Carolina. I know you have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, well, actually, Joe, I didn't realize your interest in financial literacy, but I just was primary sponsor and passed out of the House 2 weeks ago a bill that specifically focuses on financial literacy and creating a financial literacy council that will have 10 government agencies and 8 people from either the banking industry or financial services industry and advocacy groups, try and figure out how we do a better job of collecting some good things that are going on, identifying deficiencies, and doing a better job all the way from kindergarten to people graduating from high school and beyond. I really do believe that that's the part of the ounce of cure to prevent some of the problems that we're dealing with now in this current downturn.
I agree with you 100%.
But now in education, you know, our teachers are getting more and more burdened, and we're not helping them. We're not helping them in terms of the flexibility that the school systems have to operate at the local level. We're not helping the teacher with flexibility in the classroom, and we're really falling behind in terms of compensation, particularly for K through 12. And North Carolina is considered to be the best practice for a university system. You know, we have a very long history, and we're very proud of what we do with our university system. And in fact, we do a great job with our community college system, but we fall really short K through 12. We're not paying the teachers enough. We haven't cracked the nut. It's not clear to me whether or not we need to spend more money on education, but I do know we need to spend it differently. And we need to figure out a way to incent the best and brightest teachers to be able to move up and play prominent roles in school. We need to make it very clear that overall performance is a factor in their evaluation. It's not just about going and hitting the numbers on some sort of a test and getting a test score. I think that produces a lot of bad outcomes. Focus more on that than what you're really trying to accomplish as a teacher. We've got to work on that. And, you know, to be honest with you, I was at a summit back in December on education. I think we also have to look at other alternatives. We've got to create the opportunity for private sector to play a role. I actually think homeschooling plays a role. But make no mistake about it, at the end of the day, we have to have a strong and vibrant public school system, and we've got to place in the forefront the student and the teacher, and everything else should flow behind that. Now, you have layers of administration in Mecklenburg, you have layers of administration in Raleigh, and quite honestly, you have layers of administration in the federal government. We need to invert that. When it's all said and done, it's almost like the education departments exist for their own sake, other than for the sake of that teacher and that child in the classroom.
That seems to be the case up in New York. I mean, basically, the education department always gets the priority, and they have no accountability to anybody, and this is a real issue. And they just, I mean, I could tell you stories that knock your socks off, but because I was involved with them for a short time in a lot of different ways.
You know, in our state, the one, I think we have to offer a lot more latitude. In our state, we have a constitutional construct. Some states, there are one of two constitutional constructs. One is you can do whatever you want to unless the state prohibits it. And the other one is the one that we have in North Carolina is you can't do anything unless we approve it. And so,
which is the way it should be.
True. But what we ought not do is make a lot of the decisions that are best made on the ground with highly qualified teachers and highly qualified superintendents a decision in Raleigh. We've got to figure out a way to free up some decision-making ability and some execution ability at the local level. The reason for that is we need to find better practices. What we see across the state is a uniformly unacceptable condition. It shouldn't be difficult to understand why at least a part of that is because the state's mandating a uniform approach to education. If we provided a little bit more latitude, we would probably find some best practices emerge, some things that people would follow, versus thinking the central planning approach in Raleigh is the best approach. It really has not worked. We are not getting the value for the education dollar that we invest, and teachers and students are hurting worst among all, and we got to work on that.
Do you see it getting better anytime soon?
You know, in the financial climate...
Because now it's compounded by this economic crisis.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I worry. I actually worry. I think some of the best and brightest teachers You know, we've had less attrition now. There are fewer opportunities. When the market was good, we were seeing a lot of good teachers leave the profession. You know, if you could go downtown to Bank of America and with the education that the average teacher has, get an entry-level job for $45,000, $50,000, working 5 days a week, not having to spend your own money for the supplies that you use in the office, not having to deal with classroom behavior and safety problems, that looks pretty attractive. We've got to figure out a way to turn that around and really hold up teaching as a profession that people should really want to do, get a lot of satisfaction out of it, and reward them at some level. You'll never be able to compete completely with the corporate environment, but I think most teachers are wired in a way that this is what they want to do.
Well, that's it. They got into that profession for a reason.
Yeah. I hosted a group of kids. In fact, I've got some more coming next week to Raleigh, and I always tell them, I said, these men and women love you. They're here not only because they want to teach you, but they care about you, and that's something special. We got to make sure that we reward those folks. Yeah. At the same time, the underperformers, the ones that are causing problems, we have to provide the districts with latitude to get them out.
Well, I think you answered my question on teachers. This is a complex problem, and we've been struggling with this on a nationwide basis. I really believe that North Carolina is ahead of the pack in a lot of ways. Education, growth, but this educational system overall really is a problem, and you know, you answer some of the questions. We're going to take a short break. I want to ask you about the growth and how the state is going to handle the growth. It will come back. I believe you're right. We're going to turn the corner first before any other states. I want to discuss that with you when we come back. We'll be back shortly.